Ryan Blaney sealed it and sent it at Martinsville and into the Final Four with Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, and William Byron, making this the youngest Final Four championship ever in NASCAR history. But which one of these four will win the championship? Let's break it all down today on Shifting Gears.
Let's go! That is my guy! Yeah!
I'm Alan Bailey, and before the checkered flag flies on the 2023 NASCAR season, make sure that you mash that subscribe button so that you come back for the next video and log on to AmericanRacingNetwork.com for the latest motorsports news. ARN, the Motorsports Authority. Honestly, this is a tough one. This is a really tough one. All four of these drivers have had honestly championship caliber seasons. I know that is controversial. One or two of them have stood out a little bit better than the rest, but there's a lot to break down here, so let's go ahead and do this numerically, starting with the number 5 and Kyle Larson. He won Las Vegas earlier this season, locking himself in, and that has given them a couple of extra weeks, but they very much said, no, we want to win Homestead, we want to win Martinsville, and we saw how that went. So I question if they focused on unimportant races and maybe shot themselves in the foot for Phoenix this weekend, but honestly, they've done this before. They're hands down the best pit crew on pit road right now, and that is going to play a humongous key in winning this championship. But with 4 wins in 2024, they're having a really good year, but not a great year. Let's talk about that, because for about 10 to 15 races, they should have won those races. But they didn't. They shot themselves in the foot, like running into the pit barrels at Homestead, DNFing, spinning out, engine issues, you name it. They're either winning or they're DNFing. And that inconsistency is not great, but going into this final race, winner-take-all format, it doesn't really matter. You have to put together a single great race. And I do think that Larson is definitely the one to beat this weekend out in Phoenix. And remember, a single pit stop, that last amazing 4-tire pit stop, is what won them the championship in 2021, and they can definitely do that again during the final pit stop this weekend out at Phoenix. Ryan Blaney in the 12 car. Big, massive statement win over the last weekend at Martinsville. They went in the Final Four mathematically and didn't necessarily need to win to lock themselves in, but you know what helps? Winning and definitely sending it down there. And they've been on fire lately. A couple of wins in the playoffs here, and they're trending in the right direction. And finally, for the first time in Ryan Blaney's career, he is the number 1 driver over at Penske, with Joey Logano eliminated early in the postseason and Austin Cindric simply not in the postseason at all. Blaney is finally the guy that is getting the attention that he deserves in that organization. And with the entire Penske organization behind you, this guy is going to be tough to beat. And remember, go back last year, go back even to the spring. He finished second in the last 2 Phoenix races, and that is impressive. And the fact that he's had speed the last couple of weeks is also impressive. This is a guy that sincerely has to be one to beat. With his 3 victories this season, he could definitely make it 4 on Sunday and win his first NASCAR Cup Series championship. Now let's talk about the 20 car and Christopher Bell. Half of his wins have come in the playoffs. 2 have come this season, with 1 coming at Homestead a couple weeks ago. It's his second year in the Final Four, but this year he won that race a little earlier, a week earlier to be precise, and he didn't have to have that walk-off win at Martinsville. So emotionally, he's had a week to kind of relax, de-stress a little bit, and not really focus on Martinsville and prep for that extra week for Phoenix. That could be the difference. The entire Joe Gibbs Racing program is behind the 20 car and Christopher Bell, and he is definitely a driver that has the speed, but I question if he's faster than the 12 and the 5. We're going to have to wait and see. Pit road issues have been an issue for them all season long. Super inconsistent over at Gibbs all year long. They've been moving people around, and I can guarantee you we'll probably get some news late in the week about more pit crew changes on that 20 car. I'm not feeling really great about Christopher Bell, but it definitely is a possibility that they could rally this weekend and pick up the victory and a championship. The 24 car and William Byron, 6 victories this season. They won out at Phoenix in the spring. but they're coming off of a bad race out in Martinsville. He literally was melting and almost losing consciousness within the car because he did not have cool air blowing on him. He was overheating and quite literally was in an oven in that 24 car. He wanted to pull off. He stated that, and he kept it in it. He honestly brought that thing home in the playoffs somehow and making the Final Four. That's playoff determination. This guy is not a kid anymore. Yes, he is young, but he is not the young upstart driver that we all think about him. He is honestly a serious championship threat, and I think he's going to be one of the guys to beat out there. Yes, he's coming off of some bad weeks. Yes, he needed to regroup very early on Monday and get the cars loaded up for Phoenix, but this guy is going to be tough to beat. And with Hendrick Motorsports pit crew behind him, the question is he better than his teammate, the 5 car of Kyle Larson? Maybe? That's a tough one if I'm being honest and blunt. I don't know is the real answer to that one. Is he going to be better than Larson's pit crew? I don't think so, if I'm being 100% honest, really. And here's a big determining factor, pit road. That is going to be such a massive, massive, game-changing, championship-winning, defining moment for whichever one of these 4 drivers wins this championship or loses it. It will be won or lost on pit road, just like in 2021 with Kyle Larson. Whomever gets off pit road first will win that championship. And it doesn't matter when that final pit stop happens. Whether it's 2 laps to go, 20 laps to go, 50 laps to go, it doesn't matter. It all comes down to whomever gets off pit road first. And that is key. But something we need to keep in mind, the tire that they're bringing this weekend to Phoenix is not the same one as March. It is the tire that teams used at New Hampshire in July. Goodyear's hoping that the change in the compound will add grip and increase tire wear. We didn't see a whole lot of that at Martinsville over the weekend, but they're not bringing that tire back. And I do think that that doesn't necessarily mean that the 12 and the 5 and the 24 are going to have the leg up that they had in the spring. It's essentially a completely different ball game, which really throws this entire thing on its head. But here is something also to consider. You know how you win the race off pit road? You have the best pit selection. If I'm a gambling man, and I'm not a gambling man, I'm going to keep a very, 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 very close eye on qualifying, because whomever qualifies the best and has the best pit selection will probably win the race off pit road. That is super vitally important. So little mistakes like Kyle Larson made at Homestead can't happen. It is going to be a little hot. It's going to be in the mid to upper 80s out there in Phoenix on Sunday, so that's going to be playing a factor because it will be warmer for these guys, especially considering that it's a dry heat out in Phoenix. Whether or not that you agree that Phoenix is a racetrack that deserves a championship race, the facilities themselves and the town certainly do. So we will see a champion crowned on Sunday. Who do you think it's going to be? Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, or William Byron? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're there, make sure that you mash that subscribe button so that you come back for the next video, and make sure that you log on to AmericanRacingNetwork.com for the latest motorsports news. ARN, the Motorsports Authority. I want to thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I will be in Phoenix this weekend for the Xfinity and the Cup race. I'm not going to be there Friday for the truck race, unfortunately, but you're going to see some really cool content. We're going to do a post-race victory show here on the channel Sunday afternoon, Sunday night from the racetrack will be uploaded on YouTube, and we're going to have a race vlog that kind of shows everything that happens at the racetrack behind the scenes from a media perspective. So make sure that you mash that subscribe button if you haven't already. We just hit 5,000 subscribers on the channel. Thank you guys so much. I didn't think we would get here this quickly, but we did. And another milestone that we hit this month, 1 million hours watched on YouTube. I cannot even fathom that. Thank you guys so much for this. We are heading into the 2024 season, and we're going to try to expand, going to try to get to as many races as we can. And I don't have a Patreon. I don't have a GoFundMe or anything like that set up. But the way that you can help to support the channel and us going to more races is simply mashing that subscribe button, sharing these videos on your social media account, and commenting down below. Being involved with the channel helps us grow tremendously, and all the support that you guys have shown us has definitely helped out my family a lot with the income income that we're getting from this video. So thank you guys so much. You're quite literally paying for my wife's life-saving medicine post-kidney and liver transplant from a few years ago. So thank you sincerely from the bottom of my heart for continuing to keep my wife alive. Seriously, thank you guys so much. So for Shifting Gears, I'm Alan Bailey. This weekend out in Phoenix, we'll see you at the track.